Kidslow.
Hi, I'm Haley,
And we are Wrestling Winedown. On this week's special episode, we're going to be talking about a Bleacher Report article which asks, who is WWE's next Megastars?
So grab your glass of wine.
We're going in for the 3 count.
We were doing some research for what we're going to talk about on the show, and we came across this article that Bleacher Report released about who is WWE's next megastars. So what they did is they took a group of 36 people who never really watched WWE before, showed them some clips from some different wrestlers, and they decided who they thought had the most fans or who they thought was the most impressive.
Yes, so it was a focus group. The people that were involved watched the superstars' ring work and their mic skills, and the observers, they offered comments, they asked questions, and then they noted who they found the most appealing. So this was quite interesting. They had a woman that was an elementary school teacher. They had some kids involved. The first person that they showed was Adam Cole, and he received a score of 2.1. They said there was more talks of his good looks than his ring work, which I'm not surprised.
Right.
But because you think about it, when people start watching something new, they typically gravitate towards people that they find attractive.
Right. This group said that Charlotte Flair had the glam that people were looking for, but she sounded really robotic, so they gave her a flat 3.0.
Seth Rollins ended up outdoing both Charlotte Flair and Adam Cole with a 3.3. The people interviewed said that they were impressed with his athletic ability, but he didn't come across as like your typical larger-than-life superstar as some of them do.
Right. They said he just sounded like a normal guy.
Is that a bad thing, though?
When it comes to wrestlers, they need to stand out. So now that we know him, he stands out, but I guess to other people, maybe not.
This lady, she specifically sells specialty hoodies for kids. She focused more of her comments on his appearance and fashion and said that he did not cut it. That's what she said. He seems like a normal guy.
Maybe she's had some wine. Who knows?
Maybe.
So the focus group found Drew McIntyre, Ricochet, Kofi Kingston, and AJ Styles all uninteresting.
They wowed to some degree, but they didn't generate discussion or electricity as the superstars that scored the highest, which I kind of thought was interesting because we talked about a couple episodes ago that we felt like Ricochet doesn't have any personality.
Right.
Which is kind of sad to say. But Kofi Kingston, I think he does have personality. Yeah, AJ Styles, and Drew McIntyre, but Kofi Kingston, that's a little bit shocking.
AJ Styles comes out, has great ring moves, but his personality, not there. Kofi Kingston comes out with pancakes in his belt and throws them around the ring. How could you not find that interesting?
You wonder what clips did they show them? They might have shown them clips from a long time ago when Kofi Kingston was Jamaican still. That might have been boring to them.
Right, I guess so.
The 5 top superstars that scored the highest in this, which I thought was kind of shocking. This first one was Braun Strowman.
I get this one.
He scored a 3.5 average rating, and they said that when he came out to the ring, a number of people were surprised. They said, whoa, because of his large stature. He's 6'8", 385 pounds, and he has a cougar's quickness. And kids asked if he was related to the Hulk, which I think is kind of cute. But
I mean, I understand why he would stand out. People have never seen any person to this extent. So I get why they'd be like, wow, this is an interesting wrestler. I would watch him week to week.
This lady said he was an impressively terrifying individual. I feel like that's an interesting thing to say.
I mean, his theme song is him screaming. So
I did think it was shocking that they put Braun Strowman up here. I understand that his size is something that's shocking, but I don't feel like Braun Strowman really brings personality to the table. Yeah. I feel like he has the typical big guy persona in WWE. You kick ass, you take names, and you go home. He might stop at Cracker Barrel or something like that. He looks like he could have like a hearty breakfast at Cracker Barrel.
I think he needs a lot of protein to get through his day.
So that's how I see him. I don't really see him as like Mr. Personality.
Right. Well, this one guy says it might take a couple of guys to take this guy down. So
maybe that they were only focused on his physical attributes.
I think that's definitely it, because they see these other wrestlers. If they didn't think Seth Rollins was interesting, like, they still saw him, and he's not a big guy. So maybe
Right.
they were like, wow, how could Seth Rollins take down this monster?
Yeah, you're right.
The next wrestler that they ranked has a 3.7, and it is Bianca Belair. Now, she's on NXT. People really liked her, especially the kids.
I love it.
Because they said she looks like Ariana Grande. How sweet. That's so funny.
It was interesting. They said that they would think Bailey would get the strongest reaction from the kids because she has her little blow-up figures. She's very, like, kid-esque.
Yeah.
And I think she would do well among the kids. But Bianca Belair ended up taking the ranks from Bailey.
I think it's how she whips her hair around. Like, that's fun.
It is fun. They said that Bianca has a cool factor to her. The glittery fun look, her entrance theme. They also showed the study group clips of Belair lifting women above their head, and people took notice. I remember the first time I saw Bianca Belair. She's a beautiful woman, but the strength, it's amazing. She needs to be on the main roster.
She does. I think she deserves a chance.
And it was also noted that other people in the focus groups admired her physique as well as her power. The next person to score the highest was the man, Becky Lynch, with a 3.9. Her attitude left quite the impression to the focus groups. They enjoyed her confident walk, her trash-talking skills, and people said that she was hardcore and she had intensity. Someone said she was a badass.
Yeah, they said that they would watch just to watch her wrestle. I mean, she stands out because of her accent and her red hair and just her attitude. Like, she wears a shirt that says the man, which makes people look twice. I think that she is a rising superstar because every week she comes out there, she fights so hard, and even with that weird thing between her and Lacey Evans, where Lacey Evans would just come up behind her and punch her, it got boring. But still, Becky Lynch kept it interesting. You never know what she's going to do next. Now they have this whole thing with her and the man's man. And I don't know. I just think that she's a really interesting competitor to watch. And I think that she has a lot to offer to WWE.
Some people said she's trying too hard. She came across as disingenuous. But with that said...
well, they don't have personality.
Oh,
Just
okay.
kidding.
Okay. But they also said that she scored better than any other female wrestler. So I feel like that was a very small amount of people that said that. But for the most part, it was a lot of people that really found her interesting and hardcore among the women in the WWE.
Next, we have Velveteen Dream with a 4.1 rating. Lo, when you and I went to the NXT show here in Vegas, I saw Velveteen come out, and I was like, who is he? Your cousin was even dressed like him, and I was like, I love Velveteen Dream. Like, everything about him is just so mysterious and interesting to watch. And that's why people watch WWE. I am a huge fan of his, just because of his song, his wrestling, just how amazing he is.
People attributed his cocky gait, his grand hand gestures, his outrageous attire, and his hip swiveling, and said things like, wow, and oh yes. I think Velveteen has put in a lot of work ever since he started in the WWE. He was on Tough Enough. Hulk Hogan gave him which Hulk Hogan kissed my black but Velveteen has become one of the top NXT superstars, and it's great to see him on this list. When he first started with this persona, I had never seen anything like it before, and a lot of people really don't want him on the main roster because they feel like he's going to lose a lot of his character that he has in NXT since, Triple H runs NXT and Vince runs WWE, the main shows.
Right.
So I hope that he stays in NXT for as long as possible. He's a hit for the kids and the adults. His physique impressed. His music impressed. He's just fun. You watch wrestling, you want to be entertained, and honey, the Velveteen Dream will entertain, okay?
This fourth grader said that he's 40% boxer, 40% dancer, and 20% artist. If he appeals to fourth graders, he can appeal
to everyone.
Exactly. I love that. That's so sweet.
The final superstar in this study came in with a 4.3 rating, and it is the big dog, Roman Reigns.
No surprise there.
It isn't a surprise. The article says when Roman Reigns popped up as part of Strowman's highlight package, a few of the viewers wanted to start talking about him. They said, wait, who is that guy? Eyes were locked on the screen. He scored well with men, women, and kids. I think the men thing is interesting.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've said this before on the show a long time ago, where whenever I tell people I like WWE, they're like, who's your favorite wrestler? And then I tell them, and they're like, I ask them who their favorite wrestler is. 9 out of 10 times they're going to say Roman Reigns because they don't watch wrestling that much, and Roman Reigns is one of the only ones that they've heard of.
Right, and I feel like Roman Reigns, like Charlotte Flair, which we talked about in a previous episode, they have made a name for themselves outside of WWE.
Yes.
They've been on ESPN, they've been on these talk shows, and people know them not just as wrestlers, but, you know, Roman Reigns has been involved a lot ever since his battle with leukemia. He's done a lot of public speaking, and he's made himself known to that community, and I feel like that really brought in a lot more people to WWE because they see this man who's on TV, who's in the public eye, who has the same disease as them, who fought so hard and eventually beat cancer. So I think Roman Reigns, you just see him and you feel like he's just a part of your family.
Right. Someone said he's very real.
Yep, I agree.
And he even won an ESPY award for the best moment in WWE a couple weeks ago, which was no surprise to us because him coming back from beating leukemia was an amazing moment. Like, it gave everyone goosebumps.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm not surprised that he won first place out of people who haven't watched wrestling.
I thought that this study was very interesting because we had 2 NXT superstars on this study that scored extremely high, which shows that the caliber of superstars that WWE has in NXT that are waiting for the opportunity to be on the main roster is bright. You have superstars that are young, vibrant. They catch the eyes of men, women, and children alike, and I'm excited for the future of WWE, especially when you have Velveteen Dream, Bianca Belair, Adam Cole, and so many other superstars. Would you have liked to see someone else added to this list, or do you feel like someone might have not been in the correct placement rating-wise?
I agree with all of these placements. One person that I would be interested to see how people would rate him would be Bray Wyatt. Like, current Bray Wyatt. I'd want them to watch Firefly Funhouse, and I would want them to see him wrestle with that terrifying mask.
You're trying to scare the kids.
I mean, he's already scared all the kids, so
I don't think he would rank well then if he's scaring kids. And if you have adults and men and women who are watching with their children, they might be more inclined to turn the television off.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I don't know how he would rank.
Yeah.
I'd just be really interested to see people's reaction because, like, we're kind of numb to it. We just, like, see it and we're like, oh, that's
I'm scared
good
as hell.
old
What do
Bray
you mean?
Wyatt.
They need to stop with that lighting and that mask. It creeps me out.
The
still.
music?
Yes.
No, yeah, it's definitely creepy, but we're not like, oh my God, turn off the TV. So I'd want
How
to
do
see.
you know?
Do you turn off the TV every time you see
I
Bray
might.
Wyatt?
I might.
Yeah, so I would want to see how he ranks.
Like I said, I don't think Braun Strowman fits like the personality bill here. So I would have liked to see someone else that maybe is a little bit more vibrant with their personality. I don't really know anyone off the top of my head that I can think of that would fit in this survey, though. Maybe John Cena? Maybe
People know
Bayley?
John Cena. I'm sure if they showed them John Cena, they would have seen him in like a movie or something.
Yeah, you're right. And now you think of John Cena, and you don't even think of WWE anymore.
Right.
Which is so sad. I was at a movie the other day, and I saw John Cena, and I asked the person I was with, I said, is he never coming back to WWE? And then there he was on Monday Night Raw, and I was like, I knew he wouldn't do this to me. I knew it.
He'll be back for sure.
But yeah, I mean, maybe Batista. I mean, I know Batista has just started starring in movies.
Right.
He's going Hollywood, but I wonder how he would fare. Or maybe even The Undertaker or Kane. I mean, I know they have that kind of mysterious, scary element to them, but you never know.
I feel like they think The Undertaker is just kind of boring and like doesn't have a lot to him. Well, okay, that's how I feel. Because he just hasn't been doing anything crazy recently. Like, he was in that match, he barely fought. I don't know, like, and then Kane would have the same effect as Braun Strowman, where people will be like, oh my God, that's a big dude.
Well, it also depends on if he comes back with a mask or not. To me, Kane with a mask is like some of the scariest I've ever seen.
Right.
Like, it's still scary to me. But when he's not in a mask, I'm kind of like, okay, it's just Kane. You know, it doesn't have the same effect. So, I don't know. I think this was an interesting survey. I think these wrestling websites or these sports websites should definitely do more research when it comes to professional wrestling and see, you know, how these superstars fare out with individuals that don't watch wrestling. I feel like people that do watch wrestling, they're used to seeing these superstars.
Yeah.
But what kind of effect do they have on people that aren't avid WWE viewers? Thank you for tuning into another episode of Wrestling Winedown. You can find all of our other episodes available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and wherever else you listen to your podcast.
You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at WWDcast. That is at WWDCAST.
Let us know what you thought about the episode. What was your favorite part?
We upload episodes every Saturday.
Until next time, enjoy your wine and, of course, enjoy your wrestling. Cheers!